Still had a healthy Mother's Day brunch idea live in our kitchen with STL Veg Girl. Love her. Plus, making your deck the talk of the neighborhood. How a glass of water can detect if it's time to redo your deck. HGTV star Jeff Wilson, there's his hand right there. He'll explain next. Well, we had a taste of spring a few days ago, and it will return someday, we promise. So now's the time to plan how you will turn that deck from drab to fab. So, of course, HGTV Network star Jeff Wilson, host of Build a Deck, is here with some helpful advice. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is the time of year we think about the entertainment season that's coming up, Mother's Day and on into summer, and it is time to get those outdoor wood structures, wood furniture ready for that season. A lot of people ask me, how do I know when it's time to refinish the deck?
Okay.
Because sometimes it can look a little bit weathered, but it's still being protected. And I tell them to use what's called the splash test. And we take,
wow, hello.
You apparently don't need to be refinished because the water what we do is we pour a little bit of water on the deck and see if it soaks in like this. See how quickly it soaks in and darkens the wood? Then it's definitely time to refinish the deck.
So it is time if it soaks in.
If it soaks in. If it beads up on top, then you're good to go. You don't have to refinish it
right away. The water test. That's awesome. Okay.
So once you do the splash test, you determine that it's time to refinish your deck. We have part of this that has not been cleaned, a part that's been cleaned. It's a pretty sorry looking deck, but
it's like kind of looks like my deck.
We're gonna make it look nice.
Okay.
You want to clean it really well. That's really the key to a good deck refinish project. A lot of people think they can pressure wash a deck and then put their finish on, but pressure washing can damage a deck if it's not done correctly, because the amount of pressure can actually peel away some of the wood that's on top. But we say use an off-the-shelf cleaner first. What you do is it mixes in, or you put it into a plastic spray, like a garden sprayer. I use a brush on the end of a pole like this. It's a plastic bristle brush. You spray the stuff on, let it work for about 5–10 minutes, and then you use this to kind of gently work it into the wood, rinse it off with a garden hose. And then once it's dry, you can put your finish on. And I actually like to apply the finish using a paint pad, which is this, and you can use the same pole that you saved your back in the cleaning process to apply the finish using that paint pad.
Oh, nice.
And then your choices.
You need a bigger one, right? That would take forever.
Well, that's maybe. I think it's nice to have it about the width of a deck board or two.
Really? Okay.
And then you can
makes sense.
You can spread it on, and then sort of your last pass, you can, again, it works great when you're working at the ground level. And then you have choices as far as what kind of finish. You can go with the clear, tinted, or you can go into this is a semi-transparent stain. And in the old days, we had 1 or 2 different colors that we could work with. We would have maybe brown, this sort of reddish color, maybe a redwood color. These days, there are literally hundreds of colors in these stains. This is a semi-transparent, so when we put it on, you'll notice you can still see quite a bit of the wood grain under there. You can also choose, if your deck is older, if your deck is older and you want to cover up some of the old wood, you can use a solid. See, it's much thicker. Generally speaking, that'll bring more color to the surface and cover more of the wood grain. Generally speaking, a solid will last longer. Let's say the more pigment that's in a stain, the longer it will last on your deck. So while a semi-transparent might have to be replaced every 3 years, a solid might last 5 or more years in between refinishing.
Well, thank you so much.
You bet.
All right. Well, if you want to find out more great advice on upgrading your deck, you can just head to KSDK.com, and we will link you to all of your information.
Great. Thanks.